For the past year, a small team of boffins at Inland Revenue have been looking at where rich New Zealanders got their money and how they were taxed. Today, they showed us what they found.
For the first time, we have hard data confirming fundamental unfairness in our tax system.
That hard data is called the Inland Revenue High Wealth Individuals Report and Treasury Wealth Distribution Paper. But we're calling it Richo's No Payo. Yeah, now you're excited. What they worked out was that the wealthiest families tend to pay 8.9% in tax. What that means is that rich people pay less tax than someone working at a supermarket checkout. Our tax system is supposed to be progressive. The more you earn, the more you're taxed. So what's happening here? Well, Richo's No Payos finds that while the wealthy do pay more tax on their personal income compared to the rest of us, they actually make most of their money from things like the return on investments or property or businesses. The income you get from selling these assets is called capital gains. And New Zealand doesn't tax capital gains. Is this sounding familiar?
Property owners made over $1 trillion in capital gains in the last 20 years.
A lot of wealthy people do not pay very much tax.
You've ruled out a capital gains tax while you're leader.
Yes,
that stands.
Yes. We are very clear we don't need a capital gains tax in New Zealand.
Could the solution to getting the rich to pay their fair share really be this obvious?
Let's ask Max Rashbrook. He's an expert on inequality. Max, were you at all surprised by the report today?
I wasn't totally surprised because I think a lot of us for a long time have suspected that the wealthy weren't paying their fair share. But I was surprised by the extent of it. You know, that top line figure that the wealthiest New Zealanders are only paying about 9% of their income in tax, you know, less than someone on the minimum wage. It's probably even lower than I would have guessed. So yeah, I was a bit surprised.
Would a capital gains tax make things fairer?
I think that'd be an obvious solution, absolutely. You know, you look around the world and basically almost every developed country, except for us, taxes capital gains because they think capital gains are income. That's just what happens in a developed country.
Max, a capital gains tax might look good on paper over and over again, but we know that governments just do not have the courage or the guts to push it through, and it looks like it might be deemed politically impossible here. Is there another way, another elegant solution of taxing these extremely rich people?
I don't think there are any easy solutions. Some people talk about a wealth tax, so a levy on, you know, all wealth over $5 million or something like that. That might be more palatable if it's very clearly aimed only at the top. But honestly, if there was an easy answer for solving these problems, I think we would have found it already.
The information you read in the report, is it like this in other countries? Like, how do we compare?
One of the most striking things for me in the report is that 8.9% tax rate the New Zealand's wealthiest pay is almost identical to the 8.2% tax rate that America's wealthiest 400 people pay. And so that's people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. And so what this tells me is that although New Zealand's wealthy obviously aren't as well off in dollar terms as guys like Bezos, you know, nothing like it, they're also very good at bending the system to their advantage and getting out of paying the tax rates that apply to most of us.
We've had the capital gains tax debate over and over and over again. Can you see any sign that this time the outcome might be different?
Look, I'm not convinced that Labour's going to go back there this election campaign. They haven't done a huge amount of preparation for it. They're still pretty scarred by the last experience. I do think a capital gains tax is winnable if you had a political party and if you had civil society groups united behind it for a period of time, because actually polling shows that a lot of New Zealanders are open to the idea. But for this campaign, I think it's probably a step too far for Labour.
Max Rashbrook, thanks so much for your insight tonight.
Thank you.
I mean, it's so hard to digest. Like, I mean, as a dumbo, I've never really known what a capital gains tax is until pretty much right about now. Yeah. And I've just sort of been convinced that it's like a dirty word, and like people get so outraged about the suggestion of it being in New Zealand. So I looked it up, and it turns out They have capital gains tax in the UK, they have it in Australia, they have it in Canada, and they have it in the home of capitalism, the United States. It's weird that we don't have it.
Can I just, I mean, you make a good point.
Yeah.
I sat here on this show a few years ago, last time we talked about capital gains, and I explained all of this to our audience and to you, including making that exact point, and you were sitting next to me.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, this guy was good. He was really good. He was interesting, informative. And...
You know what, I worked in politics for 10 years, and I think we are missing something here, and I've thought about it a lot, and there is a way that we could do this, and it wouldn't be boring either, this method. So just hear me out here.
Okay, I'm with you.
This is how we get money off the rich. We rob them. This goes back hundreds of years to Robin Hood, but we just got to rob them in a fun way, and it won't be boring. Okay. That's my idea.
I'll be the getaway driver.
Yeah.